Games at Brrraaains A Head-Banging Life here with 10 things we love about An American Werewolf in London. 1981 British-American horror comedy written and directed by the famous John Landis and starring David Norton, Jennifer Ogata and Griffin Dunne. So, this was one I'd never really considered ever doing, to be honest, because I saw the film quite young and then I never saw it for many, many years until I think last year where I was like, I'll review for the site. Let me check this out. It's been a while. I always remember loving it. And I know it's obviously one of the iconic horrors. We watched it and I think I gave it like 9 out of 10 on the site. Just simply blown away. It wasn't one of those where I needed to be reminded it was good. I knew it was good. It was just more of I can't remember the specifics. You know, you can remember quite a lot about that film once you've seen it. I
remember on one particular scene from watching it. I was probably a bit too young, and that kind of stayed with me. And obviously rewatching it, you're like, oh yeah, it's some really clever touches to it and stuff like that. You appreciate it more when you're a bit older. You're like, oh yeah.
I think you appreciate the comedy more. Like a lot of that comedy is not lowbrow, but it's not like over your head comedy either. You know. And it's sort of
pitch more as well. You do much of the
You appreciate more certain things. You appreciate things more of an adult. You look at effects and you go, oh, you know, and stuff like that. But we'll get on to all of that. Right, 10 things we love. I have 10. You have 10.
I have 10.
You can. I'll start then. So overall, actually, the pacing of the movie, pacing in any movie is a problem. Pacing in horror can be a big issue. But I feel like American Werewolf in London gets the pacing pretty much spot on. It doesn't hang about. You're instantly introduced to your characters. 15 minutes in, maybe less than that, you have a werewolf attack. But it doesn't feel rushed either, if that makes sense. It's kind of like you still then get development of characters throughout the movie. Relationships grow. And it builds to the werewolf stuff. I feel like the pacing's pretty spot on, leading to a more frantic finale as well.
I'll get onto that in the other one. But
I've got something to say about to correct that slightly on the other one too. But
but overall you are right on that one.
I think the pacing's good.
So like, if it linked into that, my first one, the setup. So it's believable that two Americans, if they're doing like a round Europe trip, you'd have a wander around the moors and stuff, the English moors and stuff.
I can see the attraction.
And a lot of people say if you're in Europe anyway, like if you're in the UK anyway, you go off to Europe. They talk about Italy a lot, so it makes sense that two young Americans would take advantage and wander around unprepared. Hitchhiking, hitchhiking with
part of the experience.
Farmer. Just throw themselves in and you
hear it all the time. People go, oh yeah, remember that time in college where we spent our summer hitchhiking around Thailand and stuff like that. It's just part and parcel of it. Hoping to find like nice little small areas. I agree. It's a believable enough setup. You know.
You called? Yeah. Good. Jack. David. You're not having a good time, are you? Oh, I don't know. I mean, look around. Isn't this a fun place? Well, I like it here. Right. Northern England first, Italy later. Right. I mean, we've got 3 months. Right.
Right, I've got going straight to this one. It's the big one. It's what we all always really talk about, and you no doubt have it too. The werewolf transformation scene. It's still arguably the best werewolf transformation scene I've ever seen.
Yeah, definitely.
No CGI.
No. It looks painful.
They make it look so fucking painful.
You just want it to be over for him. You're like, it looks so painful.
And the changes are subtle, and it switches cameras, and some of it will have changed. But it also happily shows you body parts stretching and breaking, and the noise and the sound.
That's horrible. The feet get me.
The face is what really impresses. When his face starts to come out and elongate and squeeze out. That's probably the best one. Really, more than anything else. It's iconic for the right reasons, basically. Everyone remembers it. Then
suddenly there appeared for me the only Then I heard somebody whisper, please adore me. And when I looked, the moon had turned to gold.
Help me! Please! Help me! Help me! I didn't mean to call you meatloaf, Jack.
number 2 is the pub scene. Like
Okay.
how awkward it is, because I say we walked into a pub like that. And
We
then-
have walked into a
and you're
pub like that.
Because you just want them to be nice to them and like, oh, welcome, an English welcome, and it's like, no, you could be more unwelcome in that pub.
Would you? Right, I agree with you. Except I've seen that scene so much in horror, that style so much, so it has little impact. But would you agree with me on this? That regardless of how uncomfortable it looks and seems, it isn't really, because of how many well-known British actors are involved in those scenes, and that's actually a major distraction when you're like, oh yeah, him. Did you not find that?
No, because I don't think that certain people are not utilised well enough. But
Well,
yeah,
again,
yeah,
yeah.
that's what comes to that. But yeah, I did quite like it because it's like, oh, you know, just really cold and wet, and just like to be welcomed. It's like, yeah,
It is as classic as it's gone back
Yeah.
going back to a classic Western style where the gunslinger walks in and the piano comes to a
Yeah,
sudden stop,
yeah.
and everyone, you know what I mean. That's
Yeah.
what that is. It's a trope, a horror trope, a movie trope.
yeah, and even like the pub name is like a sort of, obviously it's related to the werewolf, but again, a slaughtered lamb.
Well,
and the typical English pub name, it's like, how nasty.
Jack
can
questions
it
the picture that's on the
where's-
sign. Where's
where's
the
the
actual
lamb?
lamb? Because it's
Yeah.
more of a wolf ripping a wolf than anything else.
Yeah.
Talking about Jack, I suspect you'll have this one too. One of the most impressive things, this isn't about makeup overall, this is about Jack's makeup as the film goes on. So Jack, once he's, spoilers, gets killed, starts to appear to David as a spectre,
Yeah.
to warn him about being a werewolf, trying to get him to kill himself to stop the bloodline and let the people that in American Werewolf, if you die by the hands of a werewolf, you'll be forced to walk the earth as a decaying corpse. And so we first see him, it's really gruesome. His face and body's ripped apart. Really, really looks great. Each time he's decaying more and more.
Yeah. You didn't have to do that as well. You could just left him.
You could have left
the
it.
the same state as when he got first ripped open.
You didn't even have to do that. You could have left him looking fine and just been a spectre.
Yeah.
You could have done that. You didn't have to do any of
went
that.
to the full thing. I love it when he's talking and you can see through his.
It's really graphic. The
mouth.
very first time he's talking to David in the bed with the ripped up flesh, you see a lot. That first scene is particularly fucking graphic. And later on, even some of his other victims, makeup is good. Makeup is very, very good.
Really
And it holds up.
Yeah, so watching it 2019 and that's from 81.
Yeah,
it's
so
young,
there you go.
28 years old? No.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I covered Jack and obviously the other makeup. I did put the makeup effects as well, so we did cover both on that one.
Then go on.
The realistic non-belief in the wild animal theory, because he's obviously saying, "Oh, I got done by a." At first, they didn't believe. They just think, "Oh, it's like some nut job," and he's like, "Oh no, it's an animal," and they're like, "No." But it would be, wouldn't it? It wouldn't be your first thought was some wolf did it. It'd be some.
Not when you've got eyewitnesses and people saying otherwise. You would just, of course, yeah.
So that was quite realistic, wasn't it? Like, oh, really? A wolf? Like it was just. Nah, you just got, and obviously the American tourists as well. They're like. They don't get that in England, that kind of thing. But yeah, I enjoyed the whole realism of that part.
Okay.
Yeah.
Overall one again, tongue-in-cheek comedy plus cheesy performances combined to make this quite someone's fun watch. It can be quite harrowing and violent at times, someone's disturbing, as you say, with the werewolf transformation scene. But good performances and some very cheesy lines and cheesily delivered lines. Frank Oz, particularly in the thing, delivers his lines in a comical way that's almost just like. It's cheesy, but you kind of like it works. Same with David Norton. Overall, he's almost all his delivery and lines. He constantly seems like he's ready to start laughing.
Yeah. I think he can get away with more being American in.
Well, he's got a face as well. It works quite well. But it also helps heighten the more harrowing scenes to be quite disturbing.
He's likable. Yeah.
Yeah. Him and Jack's conversations. Fuck me, do those two have chemistry?
Yeah.
Oh my god, do they have
it's
great
believable.
chemistry?
Yeah.
Unbelievable. And Jack as a walking corpse is way funnier than he should be. While I'm going to tie into my next one, I'm going to do it at the same time because ultimately it's the cinema scene. The entire cinema sequence with a softcore skin flip playing in the background and David being introduced to all his victims is both funny, horrific, and really, really develops the story to where we need to get to an ending where we clearly have to see an out. But I love that. Jack going, oh yeah, by the way, this is so-and-so, and then be like, oh yeah, and them trying to think up ways that he can kill him. Oh, you can kill yourself this way, you can kill yourself that way. And while sitting there with ripped up faces and blood point, just the cinema scene is fucking brilliant.
This is Harry Berman and his fiancée, Judith Browns.
Hello.
Hello.
And these gentlemen are Alf, Ted, and Joseph.
Can't say we're pleased to meet you, Mr. Kessler.
What shall I do?
Suicide.
You must take your own life.
That's easy for you to say. You're already dead.
No, David. Harry and I and everyone you murder are not dead. The undead.
Why are you doing this to me?
Because this must be stopped.
Yeah.
So along the lines of like good acting, I liked their relation. Oh God, why did the nurses?
Alex.
Alex and David's relationship. I thought it was quite sweet, like because
It does. We kind of double up. I just said they have good chemistry.
Yeah.
It's believable.
yeah,
It could feel rushed, but it just sort of works because we never really get the extent of time David's in hospital. But I gather it's a while. We get a thing where he was unconscious for a couple of weeks.
it's a full moon, so it must be a month.
There you go then.
4 weeks, because obviously when he comes out to save Alex, it's not long before it starts happening.
No, it's not. It's a couple of days
Yeah,
at
so it
most.
must be about 4 weeks. Obviously, it's a full moon thing going on. So yeah, that kind of times it a bit then.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think they've got.
Yeah.
I think the relationship is quite sweet. It's quite nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of like one where you kind of wanted it to have a happy ending.
Yeah.
But it was inevitable it couldn't.
Yeah. I was always like, oh man.
Right, we doubled up to go again.
Yep. I'd say the gore. I do like that. I thought it was quite gory. Like the actual I say when you see all the makeup and stuff, they are actually ripped apart. There's no. Yeah. I thought it was quite gory.
It is quite gory. Only in aftermath though. One of the things that if you notice as you watch it is that you don't often see the actual initial bloody thing. It tends to cut away. Like the werewolf, you'll see the werewolf go poof,
And it'll
it
cut
cut.
away.
And we'll actually end up more often seeing the aftermath. Even at
Yeah.
the start, we don't see. The only time we really see a werewolf attack is when it attacks Jack
Jack
at the
beginning,
start.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then there's a so the aftermath is gory and bloody, and there's in the final sequences there's someone who gets run over by a car or something. That looks really fucking vile.
They
That
go for
one.
That, like, all that shit goes loose at the end.
Yeah. Which I'll use that one. That was my next one anyway. The rampage through London at the end. 2-minute scene of the werewolf breaking out of the cinema.
Yeah.
And the cars crashing and everyone go crazy.
Yeah.
It's fucking good. Like, because, you know, it is like... Because you do get this sort of kind of thinking as well from the werewolf's perspective. It's in a strange city, surrounded by people. It's food.
Yeah, when it's out in the mall.
It's basically T-Rex at the end of Lost World and Jurassic Park: The Lost World. The T-Rex in the city kind of thing, but it's a wolf.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? It's like, and it causes chaos. You know, admittedly, some of those people could slow fucking down driving once a car, once one car's crash has
You
happened.
would put your foot down the brake on the accelerator, would you?
But yeah, it's a cool scene. Nicely scaled up. We kind of had small lo-fi stuff occurring around London and so on, and then we got this kind of big thing leading towards the ending. Yeah.
Animal, sir.
Not a traditional hunt the monster part of the film.
Yeah,
they
there
want to
isn't.
help him. Like they genuinely they want to
There
find
isn't-
him and they help him out.
And even in fact, is there really any belief up until the end that that there was a werewolf? Even the doctor and stuff involved, it's not about him being a werewolf. They think thinks he's a werewolf,
Yeah, so
and
they
that he
wanna
might be
help him.
being violent because of that. There's never any really kind of werewolf thing in that sense.
Yeah.
He's right. So there's no hunt the monster. There isn't.
Yeah, it makes it feel a bit more modern as well in that sense of like it's not like pitchforks and trying to chase after him. It's like,
Of course.
I'm a doctor, I'm a professional, I want to help him out.
Yeah, he even
So-
says it's like he doesn't take the claim seriously, but he investigates enough to see how it might be affecting David mentally.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a soft spot, always will have a soft spot. So one of the things I love about American Werewolf in London is it's set in London. Not only just set in London, but it uses iconic landmarks and areas
Stuff
that
we
I
know.
know and recognise. I live in London, I work in London, I travel through London a lot, I go to drinking, all the stuff in London. And even if it was 1981, I always just go, oh cool, Trafalgar Square, or oh there, and so on, and streets. I've always enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Always enjoyed it. Not enough horror is set in London.
Yeah, because I was actually going, so what street is that?
I mean, one
is
of the-
that round the back? Yeah.
One of the things you remember about 28 Days Later and 28 Weeks Later is how it uses London iconic landmarks.
Yeah.
28 Weeks Later, they're walking on 28 Days Later, they're walking on the DLR track to Canary Wharf.
Yeah, you're like, oh, I know
Something
that
shit
bit.
like that, you know? But yeah, I love London horror. Yeah.
The Moon theme soundtrack.
Okay, yeah.
So every song has the word moon in it.
Yeah.
And some reference to the moon.
Yeah.
And when you want to listen back to it, like when you watch the film again, you're like, oh yeah, moon dance and all the rest
Yeah,
of it.
yeah.
Like,
I didn't actually put anything like that, but you're right, I should have done. That's quite cool. Yeah. On the same thing, I also have a real love of horror that is set on the tube. There's a reason being is because I happen to work for the tube. So anytime I get a horror movie, a good one, that utilises tube stations or underground trains and all that, the nerdy work part of me comes into it. If you ever seen a movie Creep, don't ever watch it with me because I'll be screaming left, right and centre about how it's a wrong portrayal of London Underground workers. Particularly as the person in that was doing the job I once did for the Underground. What's call it? But yeah, it's very brief, but it's quite. Is it Piccadilly or Oxford Circus? Piccadilly Circus.
Tottenham Court Road.
Oh, it's Tottenham Court Road. Of course it is. So TCR back in the day, you wouldn't recognise it now.
Yeah.
Tube train, guy gets hunted through it by the
smoking.
Yeah, like think as well, out of time stuff. You know what I mean? Like it's just I always like it. I always really like it. Utilising the tube for a horror movie. Yeah.
The sad ending. It's not
Yeah.
dragged out.
Yeah.
Because it is to say you want it. Part of you wants it, but then part of you thinks, okay. It kind of takes it from comedy to like, okay, there is that's shifted back to the horror thing part again.
Well, it was inevitable, right? Because
Yeah,
you couldn't fix it.
Yeah, there's no way around it.
And it was made clear from the start. His first conversation with Jack, they would have to die.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any more? Have you got?
I think we've doubled up. So that's all.
Perfect, because then it ends with my one, which ties into that. Anyway, one of the things I really love about it is that it doesn't overstay its welcome.
Yeah.
It run its course. It knew it was going to have a rushed and frantic ending, and it was just going to end. We didn't even get a really lengthy Alex in the alleyway trying to coax him out, because you could see that scene being dragged out for a good few minutes while it comes closer and she's reaching her hand out. It doesn't.
Yeah.
It sort of snarls and then gets gunned down. David gets gunned down, and then it just she cries and David's shot dead body.
Yeah.
And then it ends. Thank you very much.
Carefully positioned leg.
Oh yeah, always. Although you do see his wang several times through it.
Yeah, wang takes away from the sadness. Though.
David, it would do. David Nowton is happy enough to do the nude. Yeah. There you go. There's our 10 things we love about An American Werewolf in London. Make sure you check back for 10 things we hate about American Werewolf in London. Thank you for watching. Hit that like and subscribe button.